So let's talk about spirit communication. I wanted to talk about just the understanding of what to expect when you are watching mediumship, which is spirit communication. So people come to events, and this happens all the time, and people have a kind of expectation of what they're going to see, and maybe not always having a clear knowing about what actual spirit communication should look like. So a few simple things. One, nobody who does my work, psychic or medium, should be asking you questions. If they're asking you a question and you're telling them the answer, then they're not doing their job correctly. If they are doing their job correctly, then we should be receiving the information, providing that to you, and you should validate that with only a yes, no, I don't know, and you shouldn't say anything else. So if you ever had done that before, then that's not the way things should be done, because then the person is not doing their job right. So the other thing with that is they shouldn't really be throwing out information. It should be, I mean, I can get the odd time something being slightly off, and that is absolutely fine, but it should not be that the majority of their evening is throwing out the evidence to a room full of people. It should be more so that they should know where they're going, because if the spirit contact is there, then they should know exactly where they're going. And a few things in the sense where they should not be saying to to a room of people, can anybody take a man in the spirit world that was important to them? And then, people putting their hand up and they're going, who is it to you? And the audience member tells them, they go, oh yeah, because they're looking for the most susceptible. They're looking for the person that would speak back to them the most, because then that's the person they want to hone in on, and that's not the way it should be done. So the other thing with that is the audience. The audience come to these things, and at the beginning of all my demonstrations, there's a very short introduction which explains this technicality and how things should work. So then from that, there is also the audience members that don't seem to think that their loved ones would maybe not want to talk. So often there is people in the spirit world who will come in and they'll link with me, and they'll just not overly want to share, because that's what they were like when they were here. But people often think that when they go to the spirit world, that actually the way it is that they should then be in the spirit world, and they should just talk and be nothing like themselves. But actually, if I was to describe them not like themselves, then people would say, no, that's not correct. So actually, people will remain who they are. They will remain exactly how you remember them to be, so that you can validate that it's them. That maybe they then have to open up and maybe share things, or they might want to give forgiveness if they weren't the kind of forgiving person, because they've worked on themselves in the spirit world. But that can take time. It just depends on when they choose to. But also, where when I'm then delivering that evidence, and someone is not wanting to communicate openly, it's not that they are a difficult communicator. It's just that they don't want to talk sometimes in front of a room full of 120 people or 40 people, or it just might be that that's who they were, or that in that moment is who they are, and they don't want to speak in front of a room full of people. And it can be hard when there's other contacts that evening that are very, very communicative, and that they are very open, and they share. So just bear that in mind, that it is very different, that your loved one may not want to communicate, and it might just be that there is reason to that they might not want to talk in front of a room full of 120 people. They're just really not in it. But that is also because there might be things that they want to say more privately, or they might not have really agreed in a demonstration or a public setting. They might not have believed in somebody like me as in a medium and stuff. So just bear that in mind. I just feel like that's really, really important, only because I've seen that quite a lot lately, where people have also then struggled to accept that their loved one would not want to be more, they would expect their loved one to be more communicative, and maybe more open than they actually would be. So anyway, if you like these kind of videos, follow along for more, or leave in the comments, and I will make more videos like this.